Hello and welcome to Old Lady Plays. I'm Kate, the old lady, and this is Tips for the Advanced Football Manager number 15. And I feel like with this screenshot, some of you who've been through the first 14 episodes of this will have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to say. And that is shouts. Shouts are a good thing. They're a useful tool, absolutely something which should be used. But I'm going to argue that you should use it sparingly. Come on, we even knew the word I was going to use, didn't we? Sparingly. Because you'll find that if you are the sort of manager who shouts as soon as the option comes up, sort of constantly, you'll find that as you get toward the end of games, your shouts become less effective. That they, instead of affecting the whole team, they affect maybe 7 or 8 players, or 6 or 5. And then the next time you shout, it's 5, and then you run out of time. The reason I believe this happens is because they have programmed it to, because players get fed up and tune out people who shout at them all the time. Excuse me. So that's something to keep in mind when you're shouting is, and this brings back to the core of how I approach the game, which is a player first philosophy. That is, I think of what real players in this situation would be interested in, would be annoyed by, and so on. And I think the idea of, I know that the idea for me of having a madman on the sideline shouting at us constantly about doing this or demanding more, or something incoherent like that, rather than something useful like play wider or something useful, it would irritate the heck out of me. And so it's not surprising to me that at the end of the game you get more pressured by the feedback, overwhelmed by the feedback, disinterested after the feedback, that kind of thing. So that's the general recommendation of this video, is use your shouts a little more sparingly. Use them to effect in the same way that you would use get stuck in or use tighter marking. They're situational. They're things you use when you need them. So when I use a shout, it's usually to go along with a shift in mentality. So I'll shift from positive to attacking mentality, and at the same time demand more, right? And so we've got, at the same time we shift to attacking, we've got focused. And so they perform better for that 8 or 9 minutes, and I've had goals come out of that. You can time your shouts so that they're effective in the game. And the thing is that a shout becomes like a jolt of adrenaline to the team, but you can only take so many jolts of adrenaline in one game, and as you get further on, they have less effect. All right, you build up a tolerance for them, as it were, and you need to remember that and try and think of things from the player's point of view. We are conditioned to think of ourselves as managers and the players as just our employees, and more than that, not even real. And I encourage you, if you want to be successful at the game, and that is the key, if you want to be successful at the game, start considering your players as real people. This is the principle that I call players are people too, and I will expand upon that in later videos, but I think that's good for today. Just go easy on the shouting. Just imagine what it's like to be a player when somebody's literally shouting every time they get a chance. It would get pretty tiring, and you'd get pretty sick of it pretty quickly. So, just a thought. I hope you've enjoyed the video or found it useful. If you have, drop a like, hit subscribe, retweet, I would love to have this series reach somebody, who could extend it, so its reach, and that would be great. So I hope you have a great day, and take care.